how does development process for AI and ML model differs from a traditional software development process? Can you provide a real world example where AI and ML has made a significant impact at field? From system architecture perspective, what are the challenges in deploying and maintaining AI models in production? Been really honored to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So let's start by just introducing yourself, about yourself, and then how you got introduced into AI and ML world.
So I think it's a long journey actually. So AI was artificial intelligence was there for quite some time now. But the point of view is who am I is the first question. So just for an introduction of myself, right? I am a solution architect at a healthcare major, which is Philips, and I also worked as an architect, right? When I say a solution architect, I am into data insights and analytics space, right? So that is where my journey started with data as a data warehousing consultant, and I have done my journey. I have walked through as a data mining consultant, and then it turned out to be a machine learning consultant, and also I am into analytics as well, right? When I say analytics, it is all about descriptive analytics in my earlier days of the career, and then later it has turned out to be predictive, prescriptive, and diagnostic analytics as well, right? So I have worked in multitudes of industries like financial planning and analysis, right, within the clients whom I have served, right, in the insights, analytics, and data domains. So this is fairly who I am, and my journey towards ML or AI, right, artificial intelligence is something which is newly gaining steam, but this intelligence is always being available throughout our journeys. I'll be speaking throughout the things as we progress, but my journey into analytics has driven me into the artificial intelligence world as well.
Okay, so let's take a step back and just understand, how did you get fascinated towards AI? Like, what was your starting point where you got interested towards?
See, whatever you have done till date, right, you have to report it out, right? What is analytics? You are looking at the data as a whole and deriving certain KPIs based on what you have done. Okay. What is KPI? That is key performance indicators, okay, right? So that's where it is, right? So when you are looking back and finding what is your data telling to you, that is called a descriptive analytics, right? Okay. So when you say descriptive, it is what has happened.
Just small example, like,
right? For example, you have your sales, right? You have sold 10,000 lights, yes, right, in some region, right? So what did I do yesterday in a very simple term, right? You just every month, by monthly basis, right? Your leadership want to have a view on what did you do yesterday, right? How to improve my sales. That is all driven from that particular thing, which is describing what has happened. So that is descriptive, historical thing based on the history.
So in your company, how are you getting? There are so many datas around, and how are you collecting from different source and you're bringing at one place? How is that happening?
So it is the integration techniques, okay, right? So that is
simple way, if you want to say, how does.
So how does the data integration happens? There are integration tools, right? Okay. So which help you to connect for your source towards your target, okay, right? For example, if you look at the new age integration tools, you have something called data factory, right? Which is what does it do? It connects to the source and connects to the target, right? There is a integration tool kind of Kafka, right? It can connect to multiple producers of data, to multiple subscribers of data.
Yes.
Right? So there are multitude of integration tools. Your APIs are also integration tools, right? Yes. Yes. There are multitude of APIs in the current day world, like RESTful APIs or SOAP APIs, or there are multitude of APIs. So these are kind of integration mechanisms in current day world,
through which you are getting the data.
Earlier, in the initial days, it was about proprietary tools of, for example, SAP. SAP has their own mechanism to extract the data from source to target. If it is from their own ERP systems or their own CRM systems, their own SRM systems, whatever it is. So this integration methodology is very important to get the data from source to the target, right?
Okay.
So then here, this is the target system is a warehouse earlier. Now in the latest terminologies, they are calling it as data lakes or lake houses,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So these are the new terminologies which are coming in, because they like the advancement of technology is something which is very key for people enabling things using artificial intelligence. That's the reason why I'm just getting into this kind of a subject line.
So
Right?
was the decision making power gave you more curiosity to do more in this field?
Yes, like decision support is very important in every walk of life.
Okay.
Right? When it comes to larger enterprises, right, they have to make decisions on a daily basis in every process. Be it their procurement process, they have to make decisions. Be it their sales processes, they have to make decisions. Be it their financial processes, they need to make their decisions, right? Because at their strategy level also, they have to make the decisions. Every day it is about making decisions, right? To have a decision support system which is enabling you to make decisions, right, is something which we are looking out at, right, every day. For example, if you take your case, there is a decision that you have to interview me, right, or there is a decision you have taken that you have to host me somewhere, right? Everything is a decision, right? Then what is supporting you to make that decision? It's data, right? Because you know, Vishnu is a guy who is working in architecture field or data science field, or exposure. He has exposure towards artificial intelligence or machine learning, these kind of things, and he can also help youngsters to get into this kind of field. That's the input which you have taken to do this particular podcast.
Yes.
Right. So that is anything enabling a decision, right, is something which for an enterprise is something which is my career throughout.
Oh.
Yeah, based on the data which is coming in. Yeah, because you do your transactions, the data is collected, and you have your data organized in certain fashion, right? In the earlier days, so in the earlier days, it used to be we used to do in a fashion called data warehousing, and in the latest technologies, there is a concept called data lake, which came into picture after the coining of the term called big data, right? Big data, we are having multiple V's. If someone who knows big data, that is called, at least let us speak about 3 V's.
No, before we go into this V's, I just for the understanding, what is the difference between a warehouse and a lake? Just in a high level.
See, the data warehouse only consumes a structured data, right? A data lake, right? A data lake is kind of a place where you can push any data.
Then unorganized.
That is where I am answering your question with the 3 V's, right?
Okay.
Volume, variety, and velocity.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Earlier, the data, whatever we used to know, was in a tabular or structured format in an Excel sheets, or somewhere stored in an application or a database table, these formats. Yeah. But the variety and velocity is the two interesting terminologies which came, right? This is data. Whatever we are speaking, this is data.
Okay.
Right? The video stream is data, because my body language is data. Okay. Right? So this is called, the first one is called structured data, and this is called unstructured data, because you cannot have this in a tabular format unless you process it.
Okay.
Right? There are also another form of data is called as semi-structured data. So now what did this data lakes enable is to capture the data in whatever form they are. Right? So these are all large data sets. Now he might have already consumed, the cameraman might have already consumed almost a gigabyte or more information.
Okay.
Right? But the structured data, like if you have a million rows, it's not even in hundreds of megabytes, depending on this thing, right? Hundreds of megabytes is what is the data size. So that is the unstructured data. Even that was also very hard to process that kind of a data set.
No, I think we'll touch that as we are progressing.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll miss that. But just before we get into those details, the next question I would like to ask you is, how was your journey later on after Nokia, and what?
So then post that, I just moved on into Philips, right, which was my longest journey. Now I finished almost 12 and a half years at Philips, right? Meaning like as a contractor, as an employee at their lighting, and as an employee at their healthcare industry, right? This is all, this was all my journey for the last 12 and a half years, mostly into the data warehousing and reporting and analytics front, right? And that also covers your what you say. When I started, it was with data warehousing. I was also into data mining, right? Couple of use cases I have done with the data mining part of it, and then later the new age term coined called machine learning, which is a part of your artificial intelligence, right? So that is where like my data journey helped me to pursue certain things on machine learning, which is the artificial intelligence way of doing things.
So you mean these processes were there from past, so they were always in.
See, intelligence, you should not be deciphering your natural intelligence to the artificial intelligence. That's what I was saying. That's about, it is all about the intelligence, right, which you are generating.
Yes.
And how are you enabling the capabilities of the technology and the machines to have the capabilities which they were not having earlier, to support
Your
the
decision.
decisions,
Yeah.
right, of day-to-day life, be it in whichever role you are, right? The amount of data which you consume naturally
Yeah.
is far lesser compared to the processed data which you consume using certain kind of algorithms which has certain mathematical formulation which is already proven,
Yeah.
right? So that's where your artificial intelligence comes into picture, and that's where you are going to enable people making their decisions,
Yep.
right? So that is where your data is helping, and that is where artificially whatever you are churning out of your data is helping the users make their decisions.
Okay, so let's shift our gears in understanding how does development process for AI and ML model differs from a traditional software development process.
Software development when it comes to analytics. When I speak about analytics, about it, descriptive analytics, right? So it is a software development life cycle or an agile way of working. So these are the two methodologies which are predominantly followed. Yeah. So what happens, that you should have the system landscape also to understand this particular thing. What is the system landscape? You generally, in most of the organizations, there is a three system landscape, which you have a development system, you have a quality or a test system, and your production system. There can be people with the larger landscapes as well, like development, test, quality, pre-prod and prod, right? 5 system landscape this is, right? Because they want to have their product which is developed, right, to be delivered to in a right way. They wanted to test it in a right way. Yeah. So this is typically the system landscapes which are there in any data world or any application world as well, right?
Traditional model.
Traditionally, this is how it happens. Let us take a case of development, quality, and production, right? Generally, a development system and the quality system are for developers, right? So that means they do the development in their development environment, and they do, like, when you say development, what is development in data world, right? You develop your models, right? You develop your ETL processes, right? You develop your reports, right? You develop your AI models, right? ML models.
So before we go forward, just can you define what is ETL?
ETL is extract, transform, and load, right? So that is what is an ETL process is like when you extract the data from any of the sources, right? For example, be it your ERP system as a source, be it your some kind of SQL system as a source, which is already having some tables, or be it whatever is the source system, right? You just extract the data in the source format, and then you transform it, right? If there are any transformations which are required to make a new column out of it, or to make a leading zeros removal, or the data quality of the data is not good, you want to change the quality of the data, make some kind of changes to the data. That is called the transform part in the T, which is in the ETL part. So that is what you do, extract from any of the source. So that is the ingestion processes which I have explained in the previous
session.
And then the transform is what I am explaining now, and load is like getting the data loaded from one place to another post application of this transformations, right? And also the modeling part, modeling of your data, right? When you speak about data warehouses, in the earlier days we used to model the cubes, right? The concept of cube is a little different subject. We can discuss about it itself in quite length, but that's how you model, because you segregate your master data and transactional data. So when you speak about master data, what is master data, right? For example, an employee is there, employee details of the employee is the master data. And what is transactional data? Employee is getting a salary, right, which is 1,000 rupees per month, for example, right, hypothetically, right? Right? So that's transactional in nature, because this same employee's number is coming, and this is every month you are getting a number, right? So this is about the transactional data. So how do you model? You need not, like in the olden days, right, in a data warehousing world, you needed to model this in such a way that, like, if there is repetitive information, for example, employee, for example, Kamlesh is the employee and his name is written every month, why should it happen every month, right? You can put Kamlesh as a master data, and you can look at Kamlesh in once when joining the transaction.
You just put ID.
Yeah, ID, and do that. That's called dimensional modeling, and whatever it is. There are multitudes of modeling techniques which were there in the data warehousing days, right? And then there was a disruption which has come in with the concept of in-memory computing, right? Okay. So what in-memory computing does is, you need not have you can have flat structure of data, but still there are a lot of techniques, right? Dictionary there are a lot of encoding techniques, 7 to 8 encoding techniques which are there for which has enabled this kind of in-memory computing. When you say in-memory computing, it's simply about, like, in olden days the computers, not olden days, even now the computers have their RAM as well as the hard disk, yeah, right? To bring this data from hard disk to RAM to show, it used to consume the time. This is the highest time which used to take, because, like, you have to go to the hard disk, fetch the data and keep it in memory, then that is the thing which you are going to display. So this is the time which it used to take. Now the thought process of in-memory computing is everything coming onto the disk, which is onto your RAM, right? So that the processing, everything happens into this RAM, and this IO time is not there. All these developments which I have spoken about, ETL, the integration process, right? And modeling, data modeling, how do you model a cube in the warehousing days, and how do you model a table in memory days. These are all what we have discussed. So these are all the developments which will be done in your development environment by your developers, based on the need for generating a report to support a decision. So at the end of the day, be it any of your processes within the industry should make analytical decisions as well as operational decisions. So these two are very interesting subject lines. What is an operational decision and what is an analytic decision, right? If there is a decision which you have to make within your sales process, yes, right? My invoices have to be, how are my invoices doing, right? Whether I am collecting in time or not, right? Or should I done people, right? These are all something kind of an analytical in nature. When you speak about transactional, right? How many invoices did I generate today, right? So at the end of the day, I want to look into, did I do my stuff right or not, right? That is the operational process, right? These are two different user groups. An analytical user group is different because they are making decision support at a strategy level or a leadership level or a process optimization level.
Okay.
Right? An operational guy is a day-to-day guy who is doing day-to-day operations. He is procuring some products, or he is doing some sales and these kind of things.
It's all about the quantity.
Yes. He may also need some kind of decision support, right? So that is where they are using their intelligence, right? What does that let us go back into the development artifacts. These are all the development artifacts which are required. We only are speaking about analytics, not operations, right? For analytics, the ETL artifact, the modeling artifact, and the reporting artifacts are three main important things which needs to be developed, right? And then your ML artifact, right? How do you churn out information which cannot be seen by a human eye, right? Because that is a natural intelligence has limitations, but the artificial intelligence, a machine, can process far more data than what you can consume, right? That is the beauty of it. So that is also one of the artifact which comes into the software development as a whole for a analytics and a machine learning process. And it will be going to the quality system, and there you will be doing the quality test based on a little larger data sets, right? Okay. So generally in the development environment, in the systems, like in most of the companies I have seen, what happens is development is connected to the development environment, which is not latest data sets which you have, right? And in the quality, you will be having near latest latency of the data sets. So you just test it out, and then you just move your code to production. So that's generally how it happens. And all these processes are nowadays people are speaking about DevOps, right? How all these processes post production also, how this entire circle is being catered is called your DevOps or DevSecOps, right? That is again a interesting subject in itself, right? How do you do that, and what is agile, and how does things happen?
But it's like I see that it is almost similar with what we have traditional. So once you develop all these different processes.
So I did not yet speak about the AI based modeling, because there is something called ML ops actually. Okay, machine learning ops.
Meaning machine learning
Operations, yes. So this is about DevSecOps, which we have spoken about,
which is normal,
which is non
traditional
software engineering, or you can speak it as agile way of working, or scaled frameworks, whatever it is, right? But at the end of the day, this is what happens
in a bigger picture. This is the same.
This is what in a nutshell happens in any of the software development, be it in olden days or be it in current latest days. The latest days, you have the sophistication of gathering all the data at one place in some kind of boards, like DevSecOps boards or your Scrum boards. There are multiple tools which are available, right? Like Rally, CNowDo. There are multitudes of tools available to be it Azure DevOps as well, right? There are a lot of technologies available where you can capture all the information to do the development, and you start developing from there.
So how do you handle the problem where you need to have production data in your dev environment?
See, the point of view is dev environment connecting to the production environment is always a problem every time. So there are multiple ways in how you can do that, right? One of the ways is to do your user acceptance in the productive environment, where the productionization of your artifacts is just technical in nature, right? Once you, what does that mean? Meaning, like, you just develop something and push it to production and do your testing there. So that's also, because that also comes with question, like, how can you push something to production which is not tested?
Yes.
Right? So there is always a trade-off over there, because you need the latest data is the ask for any model to be successful, right? But there are compliance reasons why we cannot have the data from production to the quality environment. So that is when it gets very tricky. Yeah. And these are some things where we have done it this way, like taking the code directly to production and doing it. And in some cases, we have wrapped the data, whatever is required, and pushed it into the lower environments, only the required information, taking the approval from the compliance and the security officers, and then doing related all due diligence, meaning like the BIAs and PIAs of the world, right? And then doing this particular deploying this particular model, right? So again, the models are not always consistent as well when it comes to machine learning, right? You need to have multitude of models which gives the best accuracy, right? You can have multiple models, and the decision tree decides which is the model which we are going to take, and then that is the model which is going to be the finalized, and that's the outcome of that model is going to say that this is the prediction which I'm doing, right? So this is how it goes, and these are problems there in the industry now, and that's something which we are living with, to say frankly.
So my actually next question was the same, where what kind of data sets are typically used at Philips and how would you ensure their quality and reliability?
Data quality is a very big subject at Philips. We have a larger teams to make sure the data quality is available, because the source system, the number of source systems you tap to get the data into a data warehouse or a data lake or lake house is pretty high, right? So that heterogeneous is my data warehouse or data lake house. Okay, so then what happens is each tool from which you get your data has certain limitations with its data quality. Right? So the data quality rules, right? There are rule engines which are set up to make sure the data quality is okay, kind of a thing. Acceptable, to bring it to the acceptable ranges. And at this point in time, Philips data quality is pretty good because of multitude of rules engines which are put in place.
Can you provide a real world example where AI and ML has made a significant impact at Philips?
The point is, like, AI and ML making significant impact is what I just have discussed, right? The decision making capability has been improved, or the accuracies of the forecast has been improved, be it for our financial planning and analytics processes, right? Reducing our working capital for certain levels, right? We are just to give an example, right? Reducing our cost of non-quality. People have improved because there is parallelly artificial intelligence coming in and giving you a new number, right? Then it's like a DRS system, right? In cricket, if you see the DRS, so if you are not accurately saying that whether it is out or not, right, your umpiring job is going to go, right? So now what is happening is, like, earlier what was not there as a luxury was a machine giving you a number, right? Now you have a human given number compared to the machine given number, right? And you can compare which is accurate, right? So that's a simplistically put. If you want to give a use case, it's a longer session.
Yeah, but I just want to understand, so in the sales world, you see that this difference happening.
For example, your planning, demand plan.
Demand plan meaning?
So for example,
I understand demand plan, but demand for what product?
leave it. Then let us not get into that deeper into the plans. But for example, you want to increase your top line.
What is top line?
Okay. Sales. Okay, leave it. Sales is your top line, and your cost is your bottom line, kind of a thing. Let us put it that simple, right? So this much sales has happened, but it costed 100 is the sales which has happened. My cost has been 70, right? Always, what an organization wants to do, it wants to increase the difference between the sales and the cost. Anyone,
They want to increase
their margins, right? How do I reduce my cost and increase my sales? Right? These are kind of a questions which goes through in a very simplistic sense, very simplistic sense, right? Then the cost. Where does the cost come from? Right? Your advertisement is a cost, right? Your duties are your cost, right? What you say? Some products can be returned back to you. That's a cost because it went to the customer and came back. That is the cost of non-quality, right? Where is the leakage? Finding out the leakage and doing analytics on top of it, and finding out from a human perspective what it is, right? By descriptive analytics, by looking back at the data and throwing the data to certain algorithms which can give certain better results, right? That's what it is all about in a simplistic sense put.
So,
If you want to ask an example,
in Philips, are we using somewhere? That is where I'm.
so for example, there is a installation value, maybe Philips is the right thing to use or not, later we will do, but there is something called, like, what is Philips doing is installation of your machines, right? If you look into any hospitals, what happens is you have larger scale, larger machines which are being deployed, right? Machine has hundreds and thousands of parts to it, right? So it, developing that machine is you have quite a lot of vendors who should give you the products, right? There will be small chips and the outer surfaces of the machine and inner things and all the stuff. If you look into a big MRI machine, right? So to install one machine, you should have all the components available to you at a given point in time when you have your order.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that all the component cannot be produced directly by your vendor?
Okay.
Your vendor has to procure a lot of other raw materials to make that particular. But this is going to hamper my delivery date.
Yeah.
Understand my point? Yeah. Right? How do I make sure that my delivery of this particular equipment to that particular hospital is at right time? So I have to be in control of all the components which are being procured and from which vendor it is being procured, and what is the chance that particular vendor may delay the delivery of the component which I am getting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So how do you do that? Historical information. Right? Once you have the historical information, you can just forecast based on that. What is the chance that this cannot come and my delivery is impacted? Later you can make the study.
Okay.
Right? So how do you do this? Right? What is the chance of this particular vendor delaying because of which my customer is being waiting? That is going to hit your promoter score.
Okay.
Customer is not going to promote you. So this is all about artificial intelligence, machine learning techniques we use to find out how we get the product on time, whether we are going to get it on time, yes or no, based on which our availability to promise to the customer is related.
So basically, in real world, the example which you gave was very good, like MRI machine, where we have to see where all our components are in place, so that our delivery is not impacted. So let's move our gears to next question, where I ask, from system architecture perspective, what are the challenges in deploying and maintaining AI models in production?
See, the first concern which I mentioned was about the data availability in the lower environments, right? That's the biggest concern. And one more concern which comes to my mind is always about the authorization of data, right? Who is authorized to look at the data, right? That's a very big subject line, wherein you may require some data which you are not authorized to see, but as we are in a warehousing, or we have gathered information from various sources where there are restrictions for the users, right, to see certain data and not see certain data. But when they come into this warehousing world, if we don't create the authorization subject line to make sure only people use the right data which they need to process, that's become a very big challenge for me, right? Unsolvable challenge, because that requires the definition of roles in the organization, which is very rapidly changing by all the transformations of the organization, right? So this becomes very tough as an architect, right, to change the definitions and the access provided to them in the previous role, and how do I provide the access with the changed role which they are doing. Because there is no proper sometimes there will not be announcement, sometimes there can be, right? How do you handle that problem? The data quality problems again comes into picture, because the data quality is not accurate all the times, right? So these are all some of the problems which from an architectural per se we can see. And also, how do you organize your data? Everyone who needs data set want to create their own models, because they want to be independent, right? That's a very big concern, because the point of view is, if you start proliferating your number of models and everyone has a different number to show to the organization, at the end of the day, the consumers of the information, which are people who are inside the organization itself, are confused to reconcile which number is right. And there is a bigger problem there, right? You're understanding my point?
Yes.
So that's where these are some of the problems which I encounter day to day.
So how do you
How do you tackle? Need one more hour to explain that.
just like an
Yeah.
uh, simple way? I don't know if
See, every problem comes up with a real challenge, right? I can give a couple of examples how did I tackle, but the point of view is not every problem can be solvable, right? You have to have some intermediate state where we want to go to and agree upon that kind of an intermediate state with the user group who are consuming it, and also the compliance and the security group. We have to inform them stating that, boss, this is what we are enabling this at this point in time as a temporary solution, and we are going to go into the final solution as XYZ, and this is what we are going to do that. Please agree with our points. And most of the time what happens is we take this temporary approval and never comes the final solutions. That's some of the problems which we face, but because there is no budget, there is budgetary concerns as well. In any organization, this is always a concern, except for some of the organizations, but mostly this happens.
So moving forward, what are the upcoming trends in AI that you believe will shape next few years?
The upcoming trends of AI, which I see, which will be shaping up, is like people are speaking more about the generative AI, like the large language models, right? My perspective was like I was when I started with this journey, it was all about processing the natural language, which was very much fascinating me. And also there was a terminology called computer vision, right, where which was also fascinating me, which I was very much fascinated for it, because like from the image you are gathering some kind of information, right? And also from the moving image, like a video stream, you are gathering certain kind of information which is not a possibility earlier, and processing that kind of an information with multiple different models which are coming in the new age, right? So that gives you a new age perspective, or new age way of looking forward, right? The term which is catching my eye recently is generative AI, or the large language models, right? Which is getting more and more into what you say, into existence, right? So that's something which is very new and niche.
I'm going to the next question, which is um, like for our listeners, what is your advice that you would give who are aspiring to dwell into AI and ML?
Your acumen on statistics matters, your acumen on programming matters, and your acumen on understanding a domain a little broader, in a broader sense, matters if you want to become a data scientist, right, or an ML engineer, right? Because these three are the skills which you should have:
Statistics,
programming, and domain knowledge in any of the domain. Because if you don't understand domain, how can you program, right? If you don't, if you don't know statistics, how do you understand the nuances of the models, right? These are the three interesting fields: maths and stats, right? And programming, and the domain in which you are working. Little bit of knowledge, not little bit of knowledge. If you want to be called as a data scientist, or you should know at least the crux of what you are trying to solve, because it is all about problem solving and decision making at the end of the day, right? How are these supporting you, be it artificial intelligence, be it your intelligence naturally, right? So movies have audience, right? And think about a situation where like every scene has a in Navarasas, you said, right? One of the rasa which is the highlight. How do you identify that is done properly or not? You can, there are 9 expression forms, right? Navrasa is what they said. Kamal Hassan is good at doing everything of that, right? Whether you want to analyze which of your scene is doing good, you can do some couple of cameras over there and see the audience reactions, right? That is something which someone might have already developed a video streaming thought process to identify what is the emotion which is being carried out when the scene is being generated, right? And this is already might have, some people might have already done this kind of a work. You need not start from zero, right? How you are going to sell it is the interesting subject line, correct? So that's the crux of the equation. Everyone can do everything, things, because earlier we used to sit and write the code. Now that is gone. The days are changing, right? That is where the creativity was required. Now that is not where the creativity is required. The creativity is required to understand what is available across the world free of cost, and use that, reuse that, and build your product and make sure that you are selling, marketing, branding yourself.
So I just want to understand, as a Kamlesh, as a software engineer, full stack software engineer, how can I grow into AI ML, and what are the resources which would help me to get into that?
So from my perspective, you have already chosen a full stack developer as your career, right? So that's where, like, how AI is going to help you out is the question, right? I already mentioned to you, like, it's most important than getting into AI. You getting into AI, you have to think inward, where AI can support me to become a better engineer at whatever the profession which you have chosen, right? Because, like, I just was mentioning, right, some time back, that AI is a new age revolution, like a computer, right? So when the computer was not there, as it came in, there is quite a plethora of possibilities which it has unlocked, right? Similarly, the age of AI is also going to get into almost every walk of life in no time from now, right? How is your profession getting impacted? Whether it is becoming redundant, right? That's a possibility, right? Or whether it is going to be supported, so that, like, you can be a better version of what you were yesterday. You have to identify the opportunity where AI can come into your lives. That's how you have to look at it.
Thank you so much. So I understand that AI is already been part of you, whether you realize it or not. And obviously, courses, you can start with it, but really it will dwell down to your domain, and then from there you have to pick it up and dwell deeper on those subject lines.
Yes.
Makes sense. So thank you for clearing lots of myths, or lots of unacknowledgement I had towards AI. But it makes sense. It really has it has really made me more open towards how I see things and how I appreciate AI. I definitely appreciate AI even before this, but now I really like the way the things go into the AI. Like, I didn't know the details on how this collecting from various sources, and then how things we do to clean up the data, and then how the model processing happens, and how it really impacts the decision making. Then I also learned about operational and analysis. That's a decision making. So analysis decision making and operational decision making, and there are like plenty of things for me to learn today. And I really believe you are so in deep that I would require more sessions from you to get more deeper and in detailed discussion, to get more value out of this. Definitely. So thank you, Vishnu, for being so kind in helping me untap the AI world. Definitely, there is lot to it. I don't think this session is justice towards that, but definitely, I would say it's a good beginning for me to get there. And I think you have been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting. Thanks for all the question preparation as well. It was really helpful in speaking what I wanted to speak. Thanks, Kamalesh. Well done.
So, as we are wrapping up, we have a tradition of having a rapid fire round where rules are simple, be quick, spontaneous, and answer should be within a word or two.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Shall we begin?
Yeah.
Siri or Alexa?
Siri.
One AI myth you wish would disappear.
That it is uh, going to overrule the natural intelligence of people.
Which is scarier, AI taking over the world or humans continuing without AI?
AI can never take over the world. That's my answer.
But which is scarier?
I am not afraid of anything. Yeah, I can deal with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you let AI choose your life partner?
No.
Biggest AI blunder you have witnessed?
The accuracy is being very poor in the ML models.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neural networks or decision tree?
I would say neural networks.
Should AI have rights?
I am thinking about constitution for AI as well in some time back, right? Because it's all a completely different ball game where we are getting into, where the human rights and the constitution which is written for the human rights are not sufficient. So I was always advocating about constitution for AI.
Okay, makes sense. Which company is leading the AI space? Google, Microsoft, Facebook, or any other company?
There is no one called leader, right? So it's I don't believe everyone is contributing. It's pretty evident that all these players which you are saying is contributing to the AI space. Maybe there is a new one coming up.
First thought on AI. So, first thought on AI in healthcare. Lifesaver or creepy?
AI needs to be trained, right? As a human, maybe I'll just go for a couple of sentences, right? Because it is just like a 6-year-old cannot do a surgery, right? Inefficiently trained cannot also solve the problem. It needs more and more data, which should be.
But at your level.
See, it is not at my level. I'm in my late 30s, right? I have gathered so much of knowledge to speak what I'm speaking now.
Yeah.
Right? If you have to see that all the experiences which I have collected throughout my being, can I train it to AI? At this point in time, I don't think so. And even if I train, my experiences I cannot train. So,
But not that you train, but the question is, given that there is an AI in healthcare system, would you go with it, or you would say you will?
at this point in time, for certain things, yes. Like for knee surgeries, these kind of things, yes. But if it is like cancers and more invasive, complicated things, I don't know if they are still sufficient. I don't know. I'm not yet qualified to answer that.
AI generated art or human art?
I like human art, but AI generated art can be more cleaner.
So I will take AI generated art as an answer.
Okay, whatever you want to do.
One AI application that blew your mind.
Did not yet come through. That blew my mind.
Not even ChatGPT.
ChatGPT made me afraid initially, right? Because like
Didn't it blow your mind?
blew my mind. ChatGPT, yes, to a certain extent, but I knew it was coming because I was following OpenAI before ChatGPT. So like
Yeah. So like the image, the Dolly 1 and Dolly 2, all you have followed. Okay. Would you upload your brain to computer if you could?
see, I'm not speaking about brain here. You have to understand the senses.
No. But the question is very clear. Like, if in case in future you have chance to upload your brain or your knowledge, which is accumulated in your brain, to a computer, would you do it?
If it is possible, yes. But it's not possible now.
As of now, it's not, but in future, so you will do it. One thing that software engineer misunderstand about AI.
That they are not using it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's me. Okay, I think that is all it is. Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting as well.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, hi, thank you all for joining in, and we learned today a lot about AI, ML, and how to take our careers forward in AI. Vishnu had been a great person in person and also helping me out, in my AI journey. So if you like our content, our work, please hit like, share, subscribe, and help YouTube algorithm understand our content. This is Kamlesh from Code Brew Lounge signing off.